internet. Since it is the beginning of April, it is time for my March wrap-up / April TBR list. In March, I read 3 books, and the first of which was an ebook, and it was The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks. I actually started this book a long time ago, like a couple of years ago. I didn't really get into it, and so I just kind of forgot about it because I don't really read ebooks a lot. And then whenever I was in Europe over the summer, I didn't want to take any books with me, so I took my iPad and I started reading it again. I finally finished it. It's one of those things where I use ebooks more for having on my phone, so if I'm ever in like a weird situation where I'm going to be somewhere for a long time and I don't have anything to do, I can always pull out my phone and read instead of just wasting time on the internet. So anyway, that's why it took me so long to read it. It got better. Like I said, it kind of took me a while to get into it. I really didn't like the main character at first. She got better. She grew into a better person throughout the book. And it was, I mean, all of Nicholas Sparks' books are kind of the same, let's be completely honest. But I do enjoy some of them. They're kind of a guilty pleasure sometimes. But they're one of those things where I kind of read it if it's there. I'm not really in the mood for it kind of thing. But this one was pretty good. I remember seeing the movie like a long time ago, but I really didn't remember a whole lot about it. So it was a nice like little refresher. It was an okay story. I rated The Last Song 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is one that I actually planned to read in the month of March, and that is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. This is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles series, which I started last year with the first book, Cinder. And this book was pretty good. It was a little slow at first, but it got so much better. I got super into it. I believe I started reading this in February, like the very end of February, and I really like it. I was like halfway through this one when I went and got the third book, so I knew I would want to read it pretty quickly, and I really liked this book. Like I said, it was a little slow at first, but it got really good, and I rated this 4.5 out of 5 stars. The last book I read in March was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is a pretty short book, and it's one that I've been wanting to read for a long time. And I have to say, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I had a hard time kind of getting into it. I really loved the movie. I've seen several versions of Alice in Wonderland in film form and the other things that are based off of it, and I really like it. So I thought I would like this book, but I really just didn't. I don't know if it was maybe the way it was told, or I don't really know, but I just didn't really care for it. I decided to put off reading through The Looking Glass, which was also on my TBR for last month. I'm going to put it off until a readathon because I do want to read it at some point, but I'm not in a hurry to, and since it's a short book, it would be really good for a future readathon. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I expected to like this a lot more than I did, and I ended up rating it 3 out of 5 stars. So now on to my April TBR. I have 3 books on my TBR this month. This is going to be a very hectic month for me because I have my last choir concert coming up, and I have rehearsals pretty much every night now for the musical I'm in, and that's at the end of the month, plus all the stuff that comes with just fixing to graduate college and being in college and all that stuff. So it's going to be a hectic month for me, so I didn't want to overload myself. But I do have 3 books on my TBR. The first of which is Cress by Marissa Meyer. This is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles series. I am on page 150 of 552, so I'm not very far into it at all, but it's super good. This one is my favorite so far because it just really like gripped me and hooked me right in the beginning, and so I've been trying to find time to read this because I really want to get through it and I want to find out what happens. So this is my first priority reading-wise this month. After I finish that, I still have to buy the 4th book in the series, and it's kind of expensive because it's in hardback, so until I manage to get a copy of that, I want to read Fairest by Marissa Meyer, which is, I believe, kind of like considered book 3.5, and it is the story of the villain in the Lunar Chronicle series, Queen Levana. And so it's not very big, but it's still part of the series, so I can still get my fill of it, but maybe not go and buy a $20 book or however much it costs right away if I don't have time or money to do that. Mostly the time thing. But so this will be probably my next read after I finish Cress. And the last book on my list this month is one that I'm super excited about, and that is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. If you follow me on Instagram, which I'll put a link to in the description, you've seen my post about this book. But this is the second book in a series. I don't know what the series is called, but the first book is called A Darker Shade of Magic. And I actually bought A Darker Shade of Magic when I was studying abroad in London over the summer, so I have the UK version. And so when the sequel came out, I wasn't in a big hurry to buy it because I was upset that my covers wouldn't match, because that's just a weird thing that I hate, is when my covers of books don't match. I still have a few mismatched ones up there, but whatever. You don't care about that. So anyway, I was watching another video blogger, and she told me about this website called Book Depository, and it's a website where you can get UK and Australian versions of books, and they ship free internationally. So as soon as I learned about that, I went and bought this book immediately, and I ended up only spending $10. And now it'll match my other copy. So I'm super excited about that, but also I'm just excited to read it in general because the first book was really good. It's more of like, it's a fantasy series, but it's more adult. It's not so much young adult. And it's really complicated to explain the plot, but basically the main character, Kel, can travel in between worlds. There are like 3 different versions of the world, and he has like color-coded names for each of them. And it takes place in London in each of these 3 worlds. It's really complicated, but it's so good. And so I'm really looking forward to reading this. So let me know what your TBR is for the month of April. Also, I have a website now. I will also put a link to that in the description. And I will be using my website to keep all of my social media links in one spot, and I have a suggestions page where you can suggest video or blog topics for me for my blog, doggonebookaddict.tumblr.com. And I'm thinking about putting up some kind of page where I keep track of the books that I'm reading as I read them, kind of like Goodreads, which I use that, but I'm thinking about putting that on my website too, so that way all of you can look at that if you don't follow me on Goodreads, which you can. I will also put that, all the links to all the things will be in the description. So let me know if you think that would be a good idea for my website. And until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye.